COVID cases are rising across the country with uncertainty certainly about and around the holidays. Joining me for the latest facts and research, Dr. David Winter from Baylor Scott & White Health. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Sonia. Good to have you back.
Thank you. Likewise. Okay, we got to start with Europe. What is happening there, and is it possible that we see the same type of thing here?
Indeed, we're seeing a huge increase. It was said earlier, England, Germany, France. France has a total lockdown. Germany's heading that way. Also, Russia's getting more. South Korea, China, they thought they had a hole in this thing a month or so ago. It's coming back there. It's all over the place. This is a scary thing. What really bothers me, though, Sonia, influenza right around the corner. Now, influenza and COVID together, we're going to run out of hospital beds if that happens. And I can't imagine trying to treat a patient with both COVID and influenza. They both go to the lungs. That's going to be a real challenge. So get your flu shots if you hadn't had one. Let me kind of speak up to my organization, Baylor Scott & White Health. We've been trying to get all our doctors, nurses, healthcare workers to get one. As of this morning, 99.67% of folks have gotten it. Follow our lead. Get a flu shot. More important this year than ever before, Sonia.
So it's good to know that, because I took sort of unofficial polls on Twitter and Instagram this week, and the numbers were not that good, right, about the number of people who've gotten a flu shot. And I even had one guy say on Twitter, Sonia, you know, there's 98% of the flu's been wiped out because of COVID. No one's getting the flu. Can you just set the record straight?
Well, it's true that last year flu was about to take off in January, and it went down because of masking, distancing, disinfecting. So those measures work also. But you want to get a flu shot. This year we should not take a chance. We got two epidemics coming at us at the same time, Sonia.
Yeah, and you can get both at the same time. The body doesn't go, oh, I'm going to have flu now and I'm going to have COVID now. I want to talk about this weekend, because we're coming into a weekend where there's, you know, Halloween, people want to do stuff. Of course, there are game day. We talk about, like, right, football all fall. You say that, you know, we've talked about calculated risks. There are some ways to at least enjoy game day safely.
Yes, there are indeed. So if you want to go to a sporting event or get out with crowds, a lot of people together, that's high risk. Spacing, lower risk. No mask, I stay away from those people. Wear a mask and then disinfect your hands when you touch something that somebody else has touched. That lowers your risk. Drinking lots of alcohol, that lowers your inhibitions. High risk. Staying sober, lower risk. And then proximity to people that are shouting or cheering. We know that the bacteria, the virus rather, can go farther than 6 feet, maybe even 20 feet when people are talking very, very loud. Quieter areas are safer, of course. Indoor, higher risk than outdoor. And if you're watching sporting events, of course, the safest of all, home with your own television set. So be safe this weekend and in the future. That virus is getting worse out there.
So, Dr. Winter, last night on Instagram and Facebook Live, I had a conversation with a Dallas man who is in his 30s, who's just contracted COVID for the second time, which we know is possible. But he did talk about taking vitamin D and feeling like that is helpful. He also talked about his symptoms being, 7 months really long. So does that put him in the long haulers category? So many questions around when people have contracted this twice.
Yeah, first I'll say vitamin D. I hope that it works. It certainly is very safe to take this. One study, 76 people, not a big study, seemed to help there. Vitamin D hadn't worked for a lot of things in the past, but that's not a bad idea to do. This long hauler thing, though, this worries me. More and more younger people in particular are getting this long hauler syndrome. That means you had the virus and you're still sick after a couple weeks or even after a month, months and months. These folks have chronic fatigue, muscle aches, joint aches, headaches. They can have chest discomfort. This is a bad illness. We don't know what this is all about. We think the immune system gets off. Another reason, though, if you think you're young and bulletproof, you may not be. Long hauler syndrome is a bad thing to have. We don't even know how to treat that right now, Sonia.
Yeah, those are good points, and he really echoed the same thing, having been sick for almost most of this year at this point, and still feeling a lot of that brain fog. Dr. Winter, thank you so much as always for your time. We'll see you next week.
You bet.